I guess that would be a yes. So, welcome everyone to our Pac-Man Pursuit Restart Town Hall. Why Pac-Man Pursuit Restart? Well, this is our rain date, venue, and dates from the race postponement, I guess you can say, from NC Car back in the middle of March. And you might ask, well, why Mayodan? Well, like we were talking before the recording started, Mayodan is a place that the league has gone to every season. The town of Mayodan loves having us there, and that trail is fairly resilient to some wet weather. And so we thought it'd be a pretty good location to have a rain date. And sure enough, here we are. So tonight's town hall is all about answering questions, giving you an overview of what to expect at Mayodan. Even if you've been longstanding member of the league, everything changes from season to season. And for those that are even new and have done a couple events with us, you know our format is pretty much standard for the weekend, but each venue presents something a little bit different, and we mix it up a little bit from event to event and season to season. So we want to make sure we give you a good overview of what's coming for the weekend. And much like we do on these town halls, the goal really is to answer the questions of student athletes who are participating in the events, parents who are bringing those student athletes to the events, and coaches who are going to guide those student athletes through the event. So it's good to see so many dialed in tonight to understand what's going on for the weekend. We think providing the information makes the weekend just a lot smoother for everybody. Three kind of pieces of our town hall. We'll start with an overview of what to expect when you get there, arrival, parking, camping, and all that. And then we'll go to the second part, which is basically walking through the schedule for Saturday, what to expect on that day. And then third part is Sunday, race day, what to expect for the race. We'll give an overview of the course. And then I will close like I normally do with thoughts on the weather, what we're seeing for the weekend. And as most everyone on the call knows, we do our weather call tomorrow, late morning, and make the announcement whether we're a go or not. Everything's looking okay for the weekend. But again, I'll talk about that at the end. What I'll do right now, though, is share with everyone where to find the information you need to know what's going on for the weekend. And if you go to our league website, I'm sharing the screen right now for that. Can someone give me a thumbs up that you're seeing the league website on there?
I see it.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Ben. So yeah, go to the main page of the website, go to the What's Happening tab up at the top, click on Event Weekends, and scroll down to the weekend you're looking for. In this case, this is Pac-Man Pursuit Restart here this weekend in Mayodan, North Carolina. Click on that event page, and we think this is where you need to go. If you got a question or want to know what's going on, this web page should provide you everything you're looking for. And we will use this throughout the meeting to show you where to find the information you're looking for. The event flyer I'll click on in a minute is a two-page document, gives you the schedule for the weekend and a lot of links with information about what's going on for the weekend. When we get to Sunday, I'll pull up the race course link. We'll show you what the race course looks like. You can click on the race course video. You can watch that tonight before you get there for the weekend, see what the course looks like through a GoPro video. And then, as we always do, we'll put out the call for volunteers. That's what makes these weekends happen. We still need volunteers for the weekend. Click on that link, sign up. We'll turn it over in a couple minutes to Brian Rablay to talk about camping and what to expect for Mayodan. And we should put the link for live results on the website by the weekend when that comes. And I'll talk about call-up lists when we get to Sunday and talk about that schedule and an embedded venue map. So, hey, where are things on the venue? Go to that venue map and you can find it right off the website. But let me go to the event flyer next and just give everyone a quick overview of, again, day by day. The league staff shows up late Friday morning, starts getting everything set up. And again, we'll put out the call for volunteers. If you are available Friday, come on out. Help set the course, help set the infield. It really gets us off to a very clean start on Saturday morning. And as many of you know, this year we're starting earlier with our Saturdays to give everyone more riding time. So getting off on a good start Friday is very, very important. And we will walk through Saturday schedule, like I mentioned. We'll walk through Sunday schedule. At the top of the flyer, there's two links at the top. This first one will take you back to that venue map, and the second one will take you to the Google Map chip where you want to navigate to. This is the entrance to the venue right here. That's where you want to navigate to come into Ferris Memorial Park in Mayodan. And that's all right there, either again on the website or on the flyer. Again, website flyer, I think most of your questions are answered through the information we provide, but we'll put them on the table tonight and see what you got. Okay, now is the time where, because we are largely here as a league for student athletes, we want to hear what your questions are. And we've got some prizes for our student athletes who asked the first, second, and third questions tonight. As soon as I say the code word, and I'll mention that here in a minute, but I've got a gift card for $50 from league sponsor FidLock. FidLock sponsors our adventure program, and we will have some adventure activities this weekend. And then for second place, I've got a Cognitive MTB gift card for a free jersey. Cognitive MTB is a sponsor of our Team Trail Corps program, and we will have trail work opportunities this weekend. And then third place, third question asked tonight, another Cognitive MTB gift card for a pair of gloves. And thank you very much to those sponsors. So now with code word leaf blower, you can put in the chat, hey, I'm a student athlete. Here's my questions. And thank you, Shell, for moderating our chat window. We'll do the best job we can of getting to all the questions as we go throughout the town hall. And again, your parent, coach, student athlete, throw your questions in the chat. We'll go through arrival. We'll pause, ask questions. We'll go through Saturday, pause, ask questions. We'll go through Sunday, pause, ask questions. We will get all those questions answered to the best of our ability tonight. So with that, what I'd like to do is, I think, go to Ben Harbor next. Ben, do you want me to Vanna White with the map, or do you want to pull that up and share?
Either one, whichever you'd like. I'll be glad to pull it if you want.
I'm going to stop share. Why don't you pull up and drive and just give everyone an overview of the venue, where they're coming when they arrive, and then we'll go to Brian Rabelais for camping information.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. So when you arrive, you can come in Park Road. You'll turn either left or right, depending on your destination and location. Come down the Ferris Memorial Park parking lot. Vehicle parking will be on your right as you pull in. So you may see some attendants there pretty early on to get you into parking. If you come on down the road, if you're doing pit zone unloading, reloading, if you read our venue guidance and the event flyer, pit zone will open at 9:30 on Saturday morning. So you'll come on down the road. You'll go out our big parking lot space, the asphalt parking. You'll drive all the way down to the end, circle, come back up, and start filling in the individual parking spaces to be able to unload your equipment and then go back to parking. If you have a longer vehicle or a team trailer, you'll drive again all the way down, you'll circle around, and you'll pull up into these middle rows. That way you can take a double spot to be able to unload your trailers and then take it back up to the parking lot as well. Typical pit zone will be laid out in the lower ball field. Thanks to Jeff and Diane's hard work this week, we have actually taken measurements of all the space of grass within the ball field, and we've made a few rows longer than what we've had in the past to be able to get everybody inside the ball field. So if you'll pull up that pit zone map on your computers from the venue guidance, you will be able to see where your team is in which row, and we'll have row numbers out so it'll help you guide you closer to your actual team tent. But other than that, there'll be a little bit of parking down below the asphalt, and then RV parking, camping down below that, which I will turn it over to Brian Rabelais if you'd like me to Vanna White, or if you want to drive it yourself, I will give you the choice.
No, that's okay, Ben. You can Vanna White it for me if you don't mind, please, sir.
I can.
So on Friday, camping will open at 4 o'clock. We've got camping. Please arrive between 4 and 10. We'd like to cut off at quiet time at 10 o'clock at night, going from 10 to 7 the next morning. You'll arrive for site one. Site one is on the soccer field. Sorry for the ball squeaking. Site one is down on the soccer field. That is the one that, were we to get a lot of rain. That's the one that always calls into question down there. But we are parking around the outer ring around site one, which is what Ben's circling down there. Larger RVs and larger campers on the front row, please. That's towards the gravel lot that is labeled as parking. The reason we're doing that is because those RVs, should it get wet, they should be able to pull straight forward and not do a lot of turns on the soccer field. Notice that the soccer field over on the right-hand side, stop. Notice that the soccer field on the right-hand side is a no camping area. Caesar does not want us camping on that side. That side, once it gets wet, it does get squishy. There should be some bleachers or something across the soccer field. So stay on the side that we have marked here, please. Do not bring tents or anything else down there. So that is for site one. Site two is the tent site, which is up on the baseball field. There will be an unloading area in the asphalt parking lot there. You should see it. I think it's marked in green down there, down in that area. That's the unloading area that's labeled as porta potties, but that's also the unloading area. Please park there, unload, drop your gear, and then move your car up to the regular parking area. Do not leave it down in the asphalt area. Move it up to the parking area and let some other folks unload. We've only got about 50 folks signed up right now for tent camping, so there should be plenty of room in there, spread out. Enjoy your area, but like I said, move your car back up to the top. Remember that there's no camping in the parking lot itself. We've got that labeled as what we call stealth camping. Please don't stealth camp. All the campers should be registered to stay in one of our designated camping areas, and they should be registered on our roster. Adam Pristis is taking over as the camping coordinator for this weekend. I can't make this venue, unfortunately. So he'll be acting as the coordinator. I'm available by phone should anybody have any questions. I'll also mention that there's two team sites across the road over on the gravel area. That's site 3 and site 4 over there. I know that the Trailhawks have one, and I'm forgetting the other team that has the other. My apologies, but there's another team that has the other one. And they'll be across the road over there. And as I've told them, whatever they can fit in there from a Tetris standpoint, however they can fit it in, they can stay over on that side of the road. And if they need to pull some of their parking over to the parking area and walk back, they can do that as well. And Brian, Ben, I think that's about it for me. Unless anybody has any questions. Oh, the one thing I will mention, there's no water fill up at Mayodan. So you need to come prepared. If you need water, you need to come prepared with water already on board your RVs. That's it for me.
Brian, thank you for mentioning Tetris in terms of an arcade season theme. Well done there, fitting the pieces in. And for you and Ben, who are like the Lego master builders in fitting all the pieces into our venues, thank you very much for that. I will mention everyone here right now, we have 517 athletes registered for the weekend, and we still have about 3 more hours of late registration period to go. Mayodan is one of our 500 or so athlete venues, so we will all fit, but please, everyone, abide by the guidance Ben is giving you, Brian is giving you for coming into Mayodan. They treat us very well, and we want to respect the place for sure. Speaking of registration, Diane LeBlanc, our registration manager, is anything you wanted to share with the group for registration this weekend?
Hey, good evening, everyone. The only reminder that I have is if you forget your plate, make sure you come and see me on Saturday so that I can get you a new plate. Also, if you have a plate that I gave to you last weekend, you will need to come and see me if you bring your regular plate, not the one that I assigned to you as a substitutionary plate. That's all I have, Brian. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Diane. And let me clarify what I just said in terms of our late registration. And because we're back-to-back events, I'm losing track of days, but late registration's open through tomorrow night through midnight. And let me just describe to everyone here, this is new for this season, a formal late registration period in Pit Zone through Thursday at midnight. And we did that for a couple reasons. One, life happens. We've gotten lots of emails over the past couple seasons. Parents, coaches missed the registration deadline on Sunday, but two, also some wanted to wait for the weather decision on Thursday. And so we're letting folks do that for the weather call. If you want to wait that long, okay. And as such, we played around with the call-up list process. And for this week and going forward, we're just going to produce one call-up list. We were producing one about Wednesday of the week based on Sunday registrations. That presented some confusion when we went to publish the second one after late registrations. So just one call-up list will be published on the website that I showed you at the beginning. We'll pull the registration file Friday morning. Phil Watson, thank you very much for doing of our call-up list production for the season. He should get that to me by sometime on Friday. And really, all you're waiting on at that point is me, who's already on site at Mayodan, to turn the League Starlink on and upload the call-up list essentially to our website. So by late Friday night or Saturday morning, the call-up list for the race on Sunday will be published. And I'll foot stomp for the coaches on the call here, and particularly head coaches. Take a look at that call-up list on Saturday. If you see any issues, we need to know by 5 p.m. on Saturday when we do our staff huddle to make any changes. Once 5 p.m. passes on Saturday, those call-up lists are final, and we will not make any morning of Sunday changes to the call-up list. So we're working through some new procedures this season. That's one of them as it relates to registration. And thank you for bearing with us, but hopefully that provides everyone a little more flexibility in terms of deciding to come to the event and then the information about that registration process. Okay, last part about arrival. Let's go to Jenny Wood and talk about volunteers for the weekend. Jenny, what do you want to share with everyone about volunteers for Pac-Man Pursuit Restart?
Sure. Right now we are sitting at roughly 49% of our spots filled. That's still just a little over half left unfilled. So if anybody out there could spare just some time to help out this weekend, it would be greatly appreciated if you just sign up in advance. So we're not having to go and find volunteers last minute. We know who's coming. We know when to expect you. Just a few hours out of your weekend can make a huge difference. If we could get just, one person from each student or just a couple coaches from each team to volunteer, just a couple hours, it'd be great. We have a lot of positions that parents can fill if they still want to see their racers on the race course. We can put you in a lot of those places and you can still see the student athletes on the race course. So we, encourage them as they go by. We have great prizes that we give away at the end of each race. We have cognitive gift cards, TC screen printing gift cards, and Black Ox t-shirt and water bottle combos. We have snacks and drinks at the volunteer tent for our volunteers. If you're just not sure what time your racer is going to be out and you want to wait till you get there, come find me Saturday morning at the volunteer tent.
All right. Thank you very much, Jenny. And I agree with you. Being a volunteer is one of the best places to be on the weekend to see a lot of what's going on. And I will tell everyone on this call, 50% is a little concerning to me. We're normally at 70% going into the weekend. And the ability, the simplest way to put it is when we spend our time as a staff trying to track down volunteers and manage that through the weekend, that's less time we have on making it the great event you all expect. So yeah, if you're on the call tonight, you haven't signed up for a volunteer spot, highly encourage you to do that or share that with your teams to make sure we are covered. We have yet to delay a race on Sunday because of volunteers not showing up, but we were close this last weekend, pretty close to doing that. So please sign up, be there on time, and let's make this a great weekend for the kids. Okay, so that's arrival. Let's pause there, see if anyone has any questions about how to get there, what to expect when you get there. And Shell, are you able to give us a status check on any student athlete questions, number 1, number 2, or number 3, and have they been answered at this point?
I pretty sure we will cover all of the questions, except there are a couple for Ben Harbor and Brian Rabelais who I tagged in those questions that are very specific to them.
Can you get them on the table if they relate to our rival? Or we're getting there, or are we waiting?
They are camping and one about sprinklers at Danville.
Let's go to those questions.
I'm crafting an email now to hopefully turn off any and all sprinklers.
Okay.
So that should be taken care of. We will not have a Billy Madison type exercise during the event this weekend. One of the questions directed towards me was about Trek. Will Trek be there this weekend? Yes, we will have neutral support to provide for students if they need it for the weekend. They should be there both Saturday and Sunday.
And Shell, this is Brian. I'm not seeing a question for me. Sorry.
Hey, Brian, this is Michael. I asked the question and it was simply, how do you access those two team sites?
So those team sites are accessed by a gravel road on the right-hand side, directly across from the venue. It's actually right next to the house that overlooks the venue. And there's a gravel road that goes up in between them, and the gravel road just kind of winds back, and there's two areas back there behind.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
And literal showers at our camping sites. Yeah, sorry about that. Ben, thanks for taking action on that. Make sure Caesar isn't turning on any sprinklers on the soccer or baseball fields this weekend. That would be great. All right, so let's go into Saturday. We can always come back to questions about arrival throughout the town hall. And what I'll do is I will go to the event flyer again. I'll share my screen just to show everyone what Saturday looks like on the event flyer. And just a reminder for everyone, this season, things are just a little bit earlier than previous season. So like Ben mentioned, pit zone opens at 9:30. Please read the venue guidance document for the pit zone unloading procedures. For Mayodan, they are different than Danville. Head coaches meeting at 11:15, a little bit earlier. Sean here in a few minutes will go over course inspection guidance for the day. And then at 11:30, a lot of our programs activities start happening. So we'll go to the programs leads next, just to give everyone a description of what's happening in those respective areas. And so let's start with Grit, since the girls are first on the race course with our pre-ride. Elise, could you give everyone an overview of what to expect for Pac-Man Pursuit at Mayodan?
Thank you, Brian. Hi, everyone. My name is Elise, and I am on the Grit committee. And we will be starting to check in for the Grit pre-ride at 10:45, and that requires registration. That was through Pit Zone. If you were unable to register on time and your female student athlete still wants to participate, you can reach out to Shell, and she can help you out. Throughout the afternoon, we will have the arts and crafts available at the tent as usual, and the awesome inflatable couches. And then from 3 to 4 o'clock, we'll be having the mentor program going on, where we will be doing Pac-Man themed bracelets and also going over to the adventure area and playing Pac-Man on bikes. So bring your bikes and your helmets to the Grit tent and join us for the mentor program. I am really looking forward to seeing what this bike Pac-Man looks like. Back to you, Brian. I guess you can show us where Grit will be. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna drill in there at least, and I think we're putting it in, where it's been before. There's Memorial down here below the snack shack and bathrooms, right in this area.
Yep, right near the bike wash in that little shed.
Right across from Pit Zone is where you can check in for
Just
the
look
Grit
for the red
rides
tent.
and all the Grit activities. Yep. Okay. Look for the red Grit tent. Exactly right. Well, thank you very much, Elise. And if anyone's got any questions about Grit, throw them in the chat window for sure. Okay, so different from Danville, which had more of an adventure focus, and we had some riding available. Mayodan Teen Trail Corps focus. We've got some trail work opportunities available. So let's go to Teen Trail Corps committee member Dave Droke. Dave, what do you have lined up for folks for Pac-Man Pursuit?
Hey guys, thanks everybody for dialing in. Back to getting a little bit of trail work done at this particular event. Brian, if you could bring up the schedule real quick. So you see here at 11:15, the head coaches meeting. That's where it says trail work session 1. That's the check-in time at the Team Trail Core tent. Trail work, we will step off at 11:30 to go out to the trail. We'll get to the map in just a minute. Just want to make sure that student athletes and parents and any of the coaches that are volunteering for that understand that we are mustering and rallying everybody at 11:15. We'll get accountability for everybody. I know that takes us a few minutes to get tools in their hand, give a safety brief, and then we'll head out to the trail. So 11:15 at the Team Trail Core tent. Then we'll go over to where the tools are, and then we'll start heading out. So we still have plenty of open slots for both of the trail work events that we have at this particular venue. Last I looked, there was 12 open slots for the morning session and over 20 open slots for the afternoon session. As Brian has just highlighted on the venue guidance here at 12:45. I'm sorry, 2:45 is when we will muster at the TTC tent for our second trail work session. So Brian, if you would please go to the map, highlight where we're going to be. We're not in the lake.
Where are you going to be, Dave, for check-in?
Just to the left of Grit, there's a programs area right there. So it says programs on Saturday, and that's the Trek zone on Sunday. So that's where we will be, right in that vicinity. Look for the big black TTC tent. Maybe you'll find Bigfoot in that area. You'll certainly find some big guys over there. Encourage all TTC coaches or other coaches, student athletes, stop by, see what we have, engage with us, see what the program is about. And we have given a lot of empowerment to our student athletes who have stepped up to be ambassadors in the program this year. So they run the show at the tent. We just kind of help them along. So when it comes to kids coming up and asking about drawing on the Stoke stick or making a guess the weight for the chocolate rocks or anything that we have going on right there in the tent, the student athletes will be the first point of contact, and then they can turn to us if they have questions. So back to talking about trail work. If you could zoom out just a little bit, Brian, we'll meet at the TTC tent where we're going to be, and then we'll put tools in hand, and then we will take a walk. If you'll take your finger and walk northeast from there, and there's a EMS access course crossing, and we will, a little bit further up from there, and then walk down the hill. The first TTC work site is just off to the north side there, the green rectangle. There's one site right there. And then the second site is just to the south of there, the second green section. Our goal is to get additional parts of this course available for the next time we roll out to Mayodan. So the work that we're doing not only is relevant for the student athletes to learn how to and what to do, but also prepare that part of the course for potential race course at the next time we go out to Mayodan. As I mentioned, we're in the tent. We're going to have the chocolate rocks. There's always candy. There's always some good engagement. From 1 to 2 o'clock, there's also the tool hour in the TTC tent. We had some good engagement at the last event, sharpening some of the league tools, got them clean, got them sharp, and then lubed them up and then preserved them. So student athletes that want to understand how to sharpen and keep their tools sharp, great time to come in there and just talk about tools, what it's for, how to take care of it, and how to keep it from turning orange, and orange is bad when it comes to any metal tools. And last note is the tent is the place where any student athlete can go to pick up their hourly prize that they've earned, whether it's the water bottle, the shirt, or the gloves. The TTC tent is the place to go. We'll have a roster there of everyone and what they've earned, and that's where they can pick it up.
All right. Thank you, Dave. A
Yes,
lot
sir.
of cool things lined up for this weekend. If you got any questions about Team Trail Core, please throw them in the chat. I see a hand up from Jeff and Diane LeBlanc. What questions do you have for Team Trail Core? at this point?
It wasn't for Teen Trail Car, more for Ben. I'm noticing on the event flyer that the pit zone is going to close at 12:15 on Saturday. I'm just wondering why we're closing the pit zone at 12:15 on Saturday.
I think that was a carryover, but trying to keep it consistent from race to race to race. Brian, do you see a need to close it?
It's only parking lot management, and the asphalt parking
Yeah.
lot is the issue there, Ben. So I defer to you, and you make the decision how you want to run it, and I'm fine with that.
There is a question for Dave Droke about TTC in the comments. What's the projected ETA on return from TTC session 1?
That's a great question. Projected time to return. We will return and be done with those student athletes at 1:00. So each session is a 1.5 hour trail work session. So we'll launch at 11:30 to get out on the trail. We'll have them back to our TTC tent at 1:00. The second session, while we muster and get together at 2:45, we will return at 4:30. And that is in our TTC flyer.
I'll just add so that I don't get a flood of emails, that anyone interested in filling some of those open slots will need to go check in at the TTC tent, as pit zone registration is now closed.
Okay. Thanks for that clarification, Shell. Appreciate it.
I will have that roster.
Third program available on Saturday is the adventure program. Let's go to adventure committee member Bill Berry. Bill, what we got lined up for adventure on Saturday?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. So in terms of adventure, we're excited. Going back to Mayodan allows us to be next to the other programs areas. So look for us as the blue canopy tent there next to Grit. And we will have in our programs area the bike skills and obstacles with the ramps that you may have seen at the earlier events, the garage bunnies where our student athletes can perfect their skills on manuals and bunny hops. And then we also have our collection of off the bike games that folks can play from cornhole to cam jam. And it looked like back at Danville, the volleyball and Jenga were popular options for our student athletes. So all things to be shared and played across the programs area. Just as a reminder, our student athletes can bring their passports to be stamped for any passport activities that they've accomplished. And it's also still plenty of passports that if folks want to come and pick theirs up, they can come and get their passport at the area. The main highlight, although the Mayodan trail set is not extensive enough for us to have a separate adventure course, instead of that, we have created, based on the creative genius of some of our programs organizers, we have created an on the bike game. That's a version of the classic video game of Pac-Man. So just to hint at it, it'll include elements of that game like collecting the dots and fruits. And you've got to watch out for being pursued by ghosts, whether it's Inky, Pinky, Blinky, or it's actually Clyde was always the one who caught me at the end. So if you want to see what the madness that our creative geniuses have cooked up, come bring your bike, bring a helmet, and come find the maze, the Pac-Man maze in the programs area. So so again, it opens at 11:30, and the adventure area will be open until 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. So that's what I've got, Brian. Kick it back to you unless there were any particular questions in the chat.
Awesome. I can't wait to see the Pac-Man maze. And I always have a helmet on when I'm on my bike. But yes, bring your helmet for the on-bike activity. That's good, Bill. I love it. Looks like Jeff and Diane LeBlanc have another question.
Yeah,
maybe about adventure, maybe not. You never know.
This is for Bill. Diane and I picked up a board that said Ninja on it Monday morning out of the programs area that was left on a table. Does that belong to you, Bill?
The Ninja, those are the new, yes, please bring it to us. Those are the newer ramps that we have. There was one that was also for sale. We'll have to look at it because there was one also for resale because it didn't quite meet NICA standards. But please bring it to us and we'll put it with the rest of the collection. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Yeah, we got it in the truck. We'll do.
Wow, sounds like Jeff and Diane Blanc might have bought our Ninja boards. Great. That's fantastic. Thanks for picking those up, Jeff and Diane. Guys are doing great out there in Mayodan. So let's close out Saturday discussion by going to Sean Moore to give us an overview of course inspection for Saturday. Fairly standard for us in this league for a couple seasons. We've extended sometimes, but always worth reviewing. Sean, why don't you give everyone an overview of what to expect for getting out on the race course on Saturday?
Yeah, no problem. There's been a couple of questions from student athletes in the chat about the course itself. And I just want to direct everybody to the course preview video that is up on our YouTube channel for this course in particular, but all of our courses have course preview videos up. Go ahead and check that out. It is a real-time first-person view of the trail ride through. So it should give you all the information you can possibly get without actually being there. There's usually a GPX file listed attached there too that will give you some more granular information about the trail from a GPS standpoint. With that being said, we are going to have our course inspection period opening up at its usual time on 12:30 on Saturday. And from 12:30 to 2 o'clock is our red flag. That is when coaches take out groups of 1 lap racers only and do a course inspection. This is a slow kind of look at the trail. You can stop, kind of get some senses of anything that's troubling you, maybe do a little sessioning of something, and then that will end at 2 o'clock. And at 2 o'clock begins our yellow flag, which is when coaches take out all of their multi-lap racers for a coach-led course inspection. Again, slow ride just to check out the course. And then at the end of that yellow lap at 3:30, we have the beginning of the green flag. And the green flag is when student athletes using the buddy system can go out, and as long as they are riding with someone else, either another student athlete or a coach, they can go out and ride at their own pace as much as they want to until we close that period at 5:30. They do need to be headed out for their last lap before 5:30. And then at 5:30, coaches are invited to meet me at the start line. And at 5:40, we will go out for a single sweep lap just to make sure that no one is left on course. And once we return, all courses will be closed at that point for the day until Sunday when we start racing. I did have a question come up on our after action review meeting that we had on Tuesday, which was about at what point in time during the weekend do penalties start? And so I want to direct everyone to the NICA handbook, which I am providing a link to in the chat. If you have not looked at this, shame on you, because these are the rules that you must be abiding by. And it is not just at events. It is actually throughout the NICA season at everything you do on the bike, whether or you are with your team or not. So take a look at that. But I do want to direct everyone, adults included, does not matter if you are a coach or not, all parents, coaches, guardians, you still have a section of rules that you must abide by. And the number one rule for everyone, both student athletes and adults, is having a helmet on and buckled every time you are straddling a bike. This was probably the highest number of penalties for not having helmets on while being on a bike at an event this past weekend. So I just want to reiterate that helmets must always be on and buckled anytime you are on the bike.
All right. Thank you very much, Sean. And last thing for Saturday, Shell, could you give everyone a preview of our fundraiser activity for the spring fundraising campaign?
Yes. So the 2 top fundraising teams from before our rained out event were North and South Wake. Will be competing in the Pac-Man Challenge in the adventure area. And those teams have been contacted with the details of what they need to do to follow up on that. And I do have one clarification to make because I failed to tell Bill this directly, but because I am unsure of how much space my madness, as Bill very accurately described it, will take up. The adventure area will actually be down where staging will take place on Sunday. So when you ride down towards the start chute, that's where you'll find the adventure area, as opposed to where it has been in the past where the Grit and Teen Trail are.
The Battle of Wake County sounds pretty cool for the fundraising activity. Can't wait to see that. So let's pause there, see if there's any other questions about Saturday before we roll into Sunday. And Shell, can you give us a status check on student athletes 1, 2, and 3? Do we have their questions answered? Do we know who they are? What do we got?
Lucas Fry was the first question, asked if there will be pass-throughs on the rock gardens.
All right. Well, Lucas, thank you for being the first question tonight. Fidlock gift card for you. You can pick that up at the registration table this weekend. I will answer your question by saying the course setting crew always makes what I call game day decisions. So when they're out there on Friday, they will evaluate the course again because conditions change. And if folks were at Danville when we showed up this weekend, it was super dry based on the last time we were there. So we have to make game day decisions. But the guidance I've given to the course crew this time, Lucas, is to keep the rock gardens, give as many lines as possible through the rock gardens. So you won't see, I don't think, a restrictive line you have to take through the rock gardens. You'll have a lot of choices to go through those rock gardens. And that's how we'll approach it initially. But again, that's what course inspection is for on Saturday. So you'll know how they have marked the course and you know how you're going to race it on Sunday. So I think that's the best answer I can give you at this point before we get out there and get our eyes on it. Elise, do you want to add anything to that or modification since you're in charge of that?
You said it exactly how we talked about, that we'll try to keep as many lines open as possible. And if the course gets wet, then we'll adjust accordingly.
Great addition. Exactly right. Just like we did last season, we might have to adjust some things if it gets wet this weekend just to keep folks as safe as possible. Okay, Lucas, again, thanks for being the first student athlete question. Shell, do we have any other student athletes?
Yes, Eliana asked if we will race if it rains.
Again, Eliana, game day decisions. And we raced in Mayodan last season when it had just rained and the course was wet. And I think as long as we don't have the threat of thunderstorms, lightning, thunder, that shuts us down. We must evacuate the course, we must seek shelter, and we cannot race in thunderstorms. But with rain, and if the trail's holding up and my team tells me it's still raceable, yes, we can race in the rain, but I can't tell you today, Eliana, if it rains this weekend, whether we'll race or not. Those are some of the decisions that unfortunately I have to make while we're there. And I'll do it as early as I can. I'll do it the best I can. So I can't give you a definitive answer, but I just walked you through kind of how we evaluate that. So thanks for asking a question tonight, Eliana. You will have the Cognitive MPB jersey card. Again, you can pick that up at registration from Miss Diane LeBlanc this weekend. All right, Shell, do we have number 3 already, or are we still?
We do. Ethan asked if the course will remain the same as last season, and if not, what changes will be made.
That is a great segue into Sunday. I'm going to start with the race course. So Ethan, hang tight here. I'm going to pull up the course information that Sean just said to everyone you can find on the website. So I'm going to go to the website and show everyone where to find the course information. So if I go back to the Pac-Man Pursuit page, let me pull up the race course itself. And this is what it looks like. And it is essentially the same thing we did last season. So we will start down in essentially the driving range, the golf course of Mayodan. We will come up and we will come across the dam. We will go into the woods to the left, what a lot of people call the Lake Loop, come back up onto the gravel road, down the gravel road, back into the woods, far side of Mayodan, come all the way around, back out here. Rock Garden is up in this area here that everyone is familiar with, down, across the bridge, around, and then finish line somewhere around here if you're a multi-lapper. Rinse and repeat and do it again. You will notice down here, 4.3 miles, about the same distance as Danville, but look at the elevation change. 500 some feet at Danville, not as much out here at Mayodan. So less aggressive climbing, probably quicker lap times for most of our athletes. The things we're considering for this weekend, because we did it last season and it might be wet this weekend, we eliminated this loop right here because this is really rooty and gets really slick and slippery out there. We might cut that out, and we might cut some distance out of the lake loop. There's an option to come up to the gravel road right here and just come down that way. And we're going to do that mainly to shave some lap time. What we're finding is we have so many kids in wave one, it's really hard to manage as a race staff, and particularly the marshals. The quicker we can get some kids off course by reducing some lap times, the safer it is. Just it's not as much of a management problem for us as a race staff. So we're thinking about those things. Again, those are some of those game day decisions we'll make. But as you show up on Saturday and get on the course, it will be marked for what you're racing on Sunday. So Ethan, thank you very much for the question. Hopefully that answered most of it there. And Shell, if I can just get Ethan's last name, or Ethan, if you can throw that in the chat window so we can make sure I write your name on the Kaizen MTB gloves card. And again, you can pick that up at registration. All right. Going back to the flyer, this is the current race schedule for Sunday. People are familiar this season with our wave structure. Most of middle school, JV3 boys will start the day, but most of middle school in wave one go to JV2 boys. Most high school girls, we put MSA in wave three and then finish with the high school and MSA boys in the afternoon. I'll talk weather right now. We've got small chances of some precipitation Friday, Saturday. Doesn't concern us too much. We're keeping a close eye on Sunday. The models right now, based on our weather forecasting team, are saying storm potential maybe early afternoon Sunday. Some models are saying late afternoon, 5 p.m. or later, which is the model I would vote for because we can pull off most of our race day with that. But if we see something earlier, we may have to go to a reduced schedule for Sunday, and likely I'll be making that decision late Saturday based on the very latest forecast. If it's looking like Sunday afternoon is going to be really socked in with storms, because again, storms shut us down. We get off the course and we go seek shelter, and we have to wait for those storms to pass before we start again. So my sense is the weekend is a go. We will all be at Mayodan. We'll have a great time, but I'll probably have to make a Saturday decision as to what Sunday looks like for that.
You muted yourself there, boss. So rewind that tape from the Pac-Man Pursuit.
I'm sure Sean can do some creative video editing for that. I was saying we've covered Sunday schedule, race course, weather. What other questions does anyone have at this point about Pac-Man Pursuit Restart that we can spend our last 8 or 9 minutes addressing?
One thing I'll ask for parking on the asphalt parking while you're unloading, please be respectful of our no parking signs when we put those up, because we put those up to provide access for EMS to get in and out, and also our food vendors that are coming on site. So if there's a no parking sign, please do not park there.
All right, Shell, how are we doing in the chat window? Do we think we have everything covered?
I think that we covered them all. I'm going back through and reading, but so far I think we've got most of them.
Okay, we'll give a couple more minutes for if we didn't get it answered, go ahead and throw it in the chat again or put your electronic hand up and we will get that question answered. But again, looking like a pretty good weekend in Mayodan. Weather call tomorrow at 11:15. So by noon, I push out via TeamSnap and social media what the weather decision is. And again, we've got a shortened schedule in our hip pocket for Sunday, should we need it to do.
There's one thing that we didn't get to in the chat, and that was that Luke Harris asked for a dad joke.
Specifically, he asked for Sean to tell a dad joke because yours are apparently not good enough, Brian.
So the only one I've got is why did the iPad go to the dentist? Because it had Bluetooth.
Luke, that's what you wanted to hear tonight? That this is why we come to these.
Let me help you out a little bit. Speaking of teeth, Luke, what do you call the soft tissue between shark's teeth? The slowest swimmer.
You must live on the coast, Dave. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so to prevent this from turning into a dad joke war, maybe that'll be the true battle of Wake County. Thank you everyone for attending tonight. Looking forward to seeing you again in less than a week from Danville. And guess what? We'll see you again another week at Browns Creek. So we are certainly in the midst of it. Thank you everyone for your attendance and the questions, and hopefully we got them all answered. And yeah, travel safe, and we'll see you out there at Mayodan on Saturday.